A new year means new matchups in the American as a pair of teams try and cross off some early New Year's resolutions. It's the North Texas Mean Green and the Temple Owls live from the Liacouras Center in North Philadelphia. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another presentation of Temple Owls women's basketball on WHIP Radio on YouTube. New matchups, new teams, and a new pair in the broadcast booth. Jacob Smedley alongside Andrew Mayo getting you set for action here. Andrew, talking about these two teams. We talked in our pregame video that you could see on Twitter about the Temple Owls, Aaliyah Nelson and Rain Tucker, both big forces for the Owls.
Not only just big force for the Owls, but big forces on the board. As we mentioned, Rain Tucker and the rest of the team being as efficient as they are on rebounding offensively. Now, as we look at warm-ups, you and I have noticed that Rain Tucker is not standing with the Temple team. So that's going to make it just as difficult on the Owls to secure those boards. Now,
Andrew, we were looking at the warm-ups. Rain Tucker just spotted her. She is at the scorer's table.
Amazing.
She is on the starting lineups. So the Owls, Rain Tucker, she's the first player for the Owls to have back-to-back double-doubles since Mia Davis, who holds the all-time scoring record back in 2021. But Andrew, on the other side, North Texas under first-year head coach Jason Burton, one of the most successful coaches in Division II basketball, with Texas A&M Commerce bringing in a handful of transfers from Texas A&M Commerce, with the likes of Desiree Cornell, who's been one of the best players not only in the conference but in the nation as well.
And with North Texas, what we're going to have to watch here is just the shooting percentage. As we talked about somebody before the game, is Desiree Colonel shooting both 40% from behind the line as well as just from the field. And even though we mentioned, or that we talked about pregame, with her not having not having made a three-pointer in about 3 games, she's going to be looking to get back in stride with that.
In addition to Colonel, Tamisha Lampkin as well. She scored in double figures in 10 of 13 ball games. She's also averaging 6.3 rebounds. We talked about Tucker. It is going to be imperative that the Owls keep Colonel and Lampkin off of the boards. We've got the starting lineups here right in front of us. As we mentioned, for the Owls, Rain Tucker is in there along with Inez Piper. Tiara East, who scored in double figures against UTSA in the Owls win on Saturday, along with Demi Washington, Aaliyah Nelson for the Owls. For North Texas, as the players announced now on the field, on the court, Ariana Hardaway, along with Jocelyn Moore, Shamira Duncan, Desiree Cornell, and Tamisha Lampkin. As we mentioned, any X factors on both sides, Andrew? We mentioned Lampkin, Cornell, and for the Owls, Nelson and Tucker. Any impact players, maybe off the bench, or also in the starting lineup?
I'd say in the starting lineup, more often than not, I'm going to turn to Inez Piper, because for her, she's a player that has been very streaky this season and somebody that Temple relied from beyond the arc on the season prior. So with Inez Piper, she's going to be a major factor. And as we always know, Aaliyah Nelson is going to be a major aspect for the Owls. Recently shooting a lot more, getting herself back in the field goals attempted category. So we're going to see if these shots are going to hit tonight.
For me, Andrew, I'm going to go off the bench for the Owls and go into Terriana Gary. She came on slow during the season shooting-wise, but has picked it up as conference play began. She scored 23 just a few games ago against LaSalle. She had 14 points off the bench in the most recent game against UTSA. Her impact off the bench as one of the key shooters for the Owls is going to be huge. And for the Owls, defensively, mention Colonel along with Lampkin. I'm also going to go with Jocelyn Moore, another incoming transfer for Jason Burton's squad, averaging 11 points per game. Someone that can stretch the floor for this mean green offense, scoring about 75 points per game.
Going back to what you mentioned about Tariana Gary, who started out a little inconsistent earlier this season, the game that I called actually at Villanova, following the big loss that Temple had, she had to say in the presser that for the rest of the season, we're not going to dwell on any of the losses and not on this loss today. And she has done exactly that, or she has not done exactly that, be a better way to phrase it, as she has really been getting in stride here for the Owls.
The Owls looking for their second conference win, came into conference play 6-6, a 71-58 win over another team making their AAC debut this season, the UTSA Roadrunners. 5 players scoring in double figures in that game. And for the North Texas Mean Green, their first game in the American against a fellow newcomer, Charlotte, falling 74-64, 2-game losing streak for a 10-3 squad. Their first back-to-back losing streak, back-to-back, first time this season that North Texas has lost back-to-back games. Owls looking to keep it going.
And when we look at that, something that you and I talked about before this game is the fact that North Texas has played a much not as difficult schedule as the Owls. And when you look at the Owls being around 500, 7-6 overall, they're going to be coming in a lot more prepared for conference level play against teams that have not played those high level teams.
The Owls, again, you mentioned that schedule, Andrew, played St. Joe's, who is off to a phenomenal start this season. Villanova in some Big 5 action. Ole Miss as well. A tough game that you saw firsthand here against Northwestern. Diane Richardson, her philosophy of those tough games, preparing for a really tough American Athletic Conference play. As the starters breaking the huddle, the Owls doing some high fives, getting set for action here at center court, looking to go 2-0 as Jason Burton continuing to preach to the Mean Green in the huddle. North Texas, as just mentioned, coming into conference play with a 10-2 record.
So I have a question for you, Jake.
All right.
When you look at this game, if you're North Texas, if you're head coach Jason Burton, what do you tell your team is going to be the game plan or the specific part of the game that you want to limit Temple with to win this game?
And now I'm looking right now at the season comparison at the offensive rebounds. Gotta box out. It just seems like it's lost in today's game. The box out after a ball goes up off the rim. The Owls 4th best in the entire country when it comes to offensive rebounds per game. Gotta keep Tucker, gotta keep Piper off of the glass as Jason Burton's squad breaks the huddle. The starters are at midcourt, the Mean Green, and they're visiting green uniforms with white and black lettering across the middle. The Owls in their Philly grays, gray uniforms with Philly in cherry across the front with white and cherry lettering. Lampkin and Tucker, a matchup to watch tonight. Looking to tip off the new year here in Philadelphia as the cheerleaders all around singing the Temple Fight song, and we're underway as the Owls win the tip, moving left to right. Aaliyah Nelson across half court gives it to Tiara East. Tiara East hands it off to Washington. Washington to Piper, over to Aaliyah Nelson. Tiara East on the left wing. Tucker giving her a screen. East drives baseline. Matching up with her is Shamira Duncan, the Wichita State transfer. Nelson at the top of the key gets a screen from Tucker. Nelson, step back mid-range. Jay, no off the front of the rim. Fight for the rebound. Duncan tosses it back to Tucker, and Duncan hits the floor, and a foul on the Owls.
You see, a stat that we were talking about pregame, Jacob, is going to be the North Texas opponent fouls. Because you look throughout the season, North Texas averages 24 opponent fouls per game compared to Temple's 15.5, which shows North Texas's ability to draw the foul.
Ariana Hardaway leading the offense for the Mean Green. Gives it to Tamisha Lampkin on the right elbow. Back to Hardaway on the left wing. Lampkin, Colonel, along with Moore, all in double figures. They're on the drive. Duncan into the paint. Lefty layup off glass. No fight for the rebound. Nelson comes up with it. Quickly in transition from left to right. Nelson stutter step has it tipped away by Moore. Swinging around to Washington in the corner. East for 3. No off the side of the rim. Rebounded by Lampkin. Little over 1:30 gone here in the first quarter. As Hardaway slowing it down on the left wing. Hardaway bringing it back out. Washington on her. Hardaway off the slip screen from Lampkin. Back out for 3 from Cornell. No off the rim. Lampkin the offensive rebound. Back to Cadell. We're talking about the Owls' offensive rebound. The Mean Green with one there. Lampkin trapped inside on the low block. Lefty, righty scoop layup. No. Fight for the rebound underneath the basket and a tie-up. An offensive rebound there for Tamisha Lampkin. She's fouled. Second foul for the Owls in the early going.
Bucking and grinding there in the paint is the North Texas Mean Green, as we see them drawing another foul on the Owls just 3 minutes into play here.
Duncan gives it to Lampkin. Lampkin back out to Duncan for three on the left wing, in and out. Rebound goes to Tiara East. 2 minutes gone, 8 minutes left in the first quarter. 0-0, Owls and Mean Green. Washington to Piper. Nelson, left-hand dribble, backs it back out to the T logo at the center of the court. Looking for a screen. Tucker gives it to Nelson. To Piper on the left wing. Piper the crossover, over to Nelson on the right wing for three. No, it's off. Fight for the rebound. Piper, an offensive rebound. Nelson corrals it, drives inside, and the floater misses everything. Rebound to Hardaway going the other way. Both teams without a basket so far. Cadell, Colonel for three in the corner. That's more. She missed it, and Nelson comes up with a rebound. Owls moving left to right. Nelson crosses midcourt. Switches hands. East in the corner. Drives baseline. Dips inside. Right-handed floater is good. Owls lead it 2-0.
See, this says a lot about the team. It feels like Aaliyah Nelson touches the ball almost every time something good or bad does happen.
Nelson leading it, giving it to East. 2-0 Owls. 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Hardaway over to Moore. Moore trying to set up Lampkin, who's in too deep and lays it up and in with the right hand. Excellent position for Tamisha Lampkin. And it's 2-2. Fences now getting going nearly halfway through the quarter. Washington leading it to Tucker. He's denied out of bounds by Lampkin. An excellent set of possessions there from the senior forward from Mansfield, Texas.
Excellent block there by Lampkin as we look here at the stat sheet that she has 16 blocks, now 17 on the season, being the only player on the Mean Green to have more than 10.
Given number 17 for Lampkin. There was baseline out of bounds for the Owls. Tucker back to Nelson. Nelson letting Tucker go to work in the post. Tucker trying to get the better of Lampkin. She misses. Fight for the rebound, and Tucker gets the rebound. Passes it to Washington. Piper with three at the top of the key. No. Another rebound goes for the Owls. Nelson comes up with it, and she knocks it down. 2 offensive rebounds for the Owls, doing what they do best, and Nelson cashes home the triple. Owls now lead at 5-2 with 4 minutes gone in the first. Mean Green moving from right to left. Colonel hands it off to Duncan. Duncan, a clean lane down the rim, and she's got it. Right-handed layup off to a wide-open lane. It's 5-4 Owls.
You got to wonder the miscue there for the Owls, as the whole left lane was open there for the Mean Green to take the charge.
So Myra Duncan, very familiar with this Owls team. She scored 11 points in the AAC Conference Tournament against the Owls last season as a member of Wichita State. Pull-up J from East in the deep mid-range, missed everything. Hardaway swings it over to Duncan on the right wing. Inside to Lampkin. Lampkin spins around Tucker in no contest. Put Tucker in a blender underneath the basket, and Lampkin has 4 early points. And the Mean Green up 6-5 with 5:20 remaining in the first quarter. Washington to East. Trying to pass it over to Tucker, a turnover. Corralled by Hardaway. Hardaway, 3 on the way from Colonel. High rebound. And Lampkin, another offensive rebound. Back out to Colonel. Desiree Colonel drives in tough. Layup, no call. Lampkin, the offensive putback is good. Tamisha Lampkin all over the Owls in the paint. 6 points, 3 rebounds. 8-5, Mean Green lead with 4:30 remaining in the first. Owls moving from left to right. Tucker hands it off to East. Piper over to Nelson on the left wing. Nelson the entry pass into the paint with Tucker. Back out to Piper. Piper drives. Right-handed floater layup way off. Colonel the rebound. And the Mean Green quickly moving in transition. Colonel. Over to Duncan, who's going to slow down the offense at the top of the key with East on her. Gives it to Hardaway. Hardaway, the entry pass to the hot hand Lampkin, trying to get it out, and it's tipped aside, trying to get it to Moore.
So far, as we've seen here, the Owls really struggling to shoot from the field, shooting 2 for 11, 18% so far in this match. And the biggest issue there, in my opinion, is shot selection. As we've seen so far in this game, we've seen a lot of highly contested, fade away, uncomfortable shots by the Owls. But then you look at the flip side and you see almost the opposite. Shooting 36% from the field thus far is the Mean Green, really getting the shots they want.
And we talked about before, as we'll keep it right here with a timeout on the floor with 4:16 as recognizing Rain Tucker, as we mentioned in the pregame video, 500 career rebounds. She got it in the fourth quarter against UTSA. Tamisha Lampkin inside 6 points, 4 rebounds, but 3 offensive rebounds, giving the Owls a little taste of their own medicine, Andrew.
Exactly. That's a lot of what we talked about, both in the beginning of this game and as well as before. It's just the Owls' ability to really clear up on the glass, and something we talked about. North Texas is going to come into this knowing that and trying to fight against it, and that's exactly what they've done so far.
Lampkin with 6 points, Duncan with 2 as well. The Owls done a good job on Desiree Colonel so far. No points, 0 of 2. No struggles. Aaliyah Nelson, 1 of 4. And they've gotten offensive rebounds as well. 4 offensive rebounds for the Owls. Piper with 1, Tucker with 1 as well. But it seemed like Lampkin just outworking Tucker. We were kind of speculating if she was hurt, nursing something out there on the layup lines. Kind of showed they were on the court defensively with a few nice spins from Lampkin, outworking down in the paint.
Exactly. And as we know, Rain Tucker right now being out-rebounded by 3 rebounds by Lampkin. So if you're the Owls here, more than anything, when you're securing these rebounds, what you're going to have to do is actually use that opportunity to get a good shot up and take your time and make sure that you get points on the board, because the Owls in a bit of an uncomfortable position here, trailing 8-5 here with 4:16 left in the first. That's not a position that you want to be in as the Owls.
And we talked about it as well, the turnovers that the Mean Green force opponents. They struggle with turnovers themselves. The Owls best in the conference in turnovers per game with 13. An early turnover leading to a bucket for North Texas. Really, after that first few minutes struggling, the Owls, the Mean Green, really taking control of the momentum inside, getting easy buckets, and the stops coming on the defensive end.
Even though not all the turnovers have shown up on the stat sheet, there have been a lot of passes so far by North Texas that Aaliyah Nelson specifically has gotten her hand on. There have been a few out-of-bounds balls that have almost been steals for the Owls. And just to keep the pressure on is going to be very important, even if it doesn't show up here on the column.
Teams breaking the huddle. Denise Solis coming in for the Owls, joining Tiara East, Leah Nelson, Demi Washington, and Ines Piper. Jalen Mallard coming in as well for the Mean Green, along with Deani Robinson, the graduate guard from Cypress, Texas. The inbound there coming from Duncan Robinson, now alongside Desiree Wooten as well. 3 new entrants for the Mean Green. Duncan, the crossover, mid-range, Jay is good. Shamira Duncan, who has history scoring against the Owls, gets 2. North Texas up 10-5 as the Owls moving left to right with under 4 minutes to play in the first. East over to Solis. Washington on the left wing gives it to Piper at the free throw line. Piper with Colonel on her. Gives it to Washington at the top of the key. Washington looking for a screen. Washington right-hand dribble at the free throw line, gives it back to Piper. Piper dishes it in the corner for Nelson for 3, but she's fouled. A unmistakable foul there from Desiree Wooten, the redshirt freshman from Dallas, Texas, fouling Nelson, shooting a 3. And Nelson will go to the line for 3 as Gary checking out Washington.
So with Aaliyah Nelson recently, she spoke not too long ago about the struggling play style by her and the rest of her team. And what she had to say about that is that we are a good team, and we just have to trust our mechanics and what our coaches say, and we just have to stay calm.
And it's really showed in her play, Andrew. One of 6 active players in the NCAA with over 1,400 points, 500 assists. One of There's 4 Owls in program history with over 1,400 points and 500 assists as she knocks down the first two, and knocks down all three. It's now 10-8. Mean Green are moving right to left. Quickly into the front court is Diane Robinson. Robinson hands it off to Mallard. Mallard in the paint, spin move, left-handed layup. No, Robinson flies in for the rebound. Gives it to Colonel, who soars inside. Righty layup off glass is no, and Solis comes up with a rebound. Nelson quickly moving from left to right. Nelson gets the screen from Piper. The three at the top of the key is no good. Rebound goes to Duncan. Duncan quickly into the front court. Hands it off to Moore. Mid-range Jay, no. Rebound goes to Mallard, and she missed it. Rebound goes to East. Owls moving the other way in transition. East drives into the lane. East, the floater is up and good. Tiara East has 4 points and ties the game at 10 with 2:40 remaining in the first. And Robinson will hold it on. The transfer from Texas A&M Commerce, along with Colonel, joining Jason Burton and his staff here in North Texas. The mid-range J from Mallard at the top of the key is good. Jalen Mallard, the senior from Little Rock, Arkansas, puts the Mean Green up 12-10. 2:20 remaining in the first. Nelson, left-hand dribble across half court. Robinson on the guard. Nelson gets a screen from Solis. Step back mid-range. Nelson passes it to Gary. Gary for three. It's way off. Fight for the rebound. Mallard comes up with it. Gives it to Robinson. Both teams moving at an extremely fast pace. Robinson, left-hand layup, no, off the front of the rim. Fight for the rebound. Mallard to Duncan, an open three. She missed it. Another rebound. That's Colonel, who goes on the floor and passes it out. Wooten to Robinson. Robinson drives. Robinson, left-hand layup is good off glass. From Deanna Robinson, 14-10. Mean Green lead it. And at 30 remaining in the first quarter, both teams holding on to the offensive rebound. East on the left wing. East loses the handle, and she's fouled by Wooten, her second.
Two notes to look at here for North Texas, as I look at the stat sheet here, is that North Texas is doubling the Temple offensive rebounds, having 8 of their own, with Temple having 4. And beyond that, North Texas isn't really a three-point shooting team. So far throughout this game, going 0 for 5 from beyond the perimeter. However, they do have a bit of a dual threat with the interior shooting, being able to get themselves down in the paint and score the layups and hard-earned points, as well as the mid-range. North Texas has been lethal from the mid-range shooting so far.
Setting up open shooters as well in the mid-range as a group substitution for North Texas. Hardaway back in there along with Lampkin. East drives on the baseline. Another floater is good. The floater game is strong today with Tiara East. All 6 of her points coming inside the paint, 14-12. Mean Green lead it, a minute left in the first corner. Ariana Hardaway at the top of the key off of a screen from Lampkin, and a foul. Foul going to go against East. Denise Solis, not East, excuse me. The Owls' second foul. Both teams with 2 with a minute left in the first. Hardaway gives it to Robinson. Robinson hands it off to Moore. Jocelyn Moore. Robinson on the right wing, the pump fake, the 3 goes up, misses everything. Fights for the rebound on the baseline, and it's tipped to Solis. Hands it off to Nelson. The blur of speed in transition. Gives it off to Jaleesa Molina into the game. She could not corral it. Hardaway going the other direction. Hands it off Robinson. The pull-up mid-range is pure. Deanne Robinson has 4 off the bench.
Mid-range, misspoken there. Mid-range has been lethal here for the North Texas Mean Green, as we've seen, getting yet another here on the offensive side.
23 seconds and counting in the first. Aaliyah Nelson holding on past the half-court line as the Owls' last possession of the first quarter, down 4. Gary off the screen from Solis at the top of the key. No, Solis an offensive rebound. Molina gets another one. Deflected, and Moore comes up with it. Yeah, it was a little lack of control there on the offensive rebound, trying to pass it out back to the perimeter off a pair of hands, and ended with the Mean Green. Again, as you mentioned, Andrew, I don't think the mid-range is going out of style. It certainly isn't today for both sides. Hardaway across midcourt. 2 seconds. Final 3 on the way for Moore, and it's off the front of the rim. 1 quarter gone here in North Philadelphia. Happy New Year to you and yours as the Mean Green leading the Owls 16-12. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center here in North Philadelphia. Happy New Year's to you and yours, Jacob Smedley, alongside Andrew Mayo. Tyler Blankenship with us as well, producing alongside us here at the Liacouras Center. Andrew, North Texas up 16-12 to begin the second. We were just talking in the break, an old school style of basketball here. The teams combining 1 of 13 from 3, and the mid-range game is alive and well.
Not only that, for old school, but North Texas plays a very old school style with the easy cuts, pick and rolls, looking for the open lanes, looking for the open man, ball movement. North Texas has been excellent with it, and as long as Temple can find a way to cut off the fundamental ideas, they can find their way to creep back into this and make it a much more lengthy lead for the Owls.
The Owls, 12 points coming from 2 players, Tiara East and Aaliyah Nelson so far. The Owls shooting 24% from the field, 4 of 17. They've made the only 3, 1 of 6 from Aaliyah Nelson. On the floor for the Owls, Terriana Gary, Rain Tucker back in, back-to-back double-doubles. First Owl since Mia Davis in 2021. She's had at least 10 rebounds in 4 straight games. Jaleesa Molina out there as well with Tiara East for the Mean Green. Jocelyn Moore, Tamisha Lampkin, Zaray Colonel. 3 on the way from Gary is off. Shamira Duncan with the rebound quickly in transition, trying to get it to Hardaway. And Nelson, the blur out of space, knocked it away.
That's one of those plays that I was talking about earlier with Aaliyah Nelson, where it might not show up on the stat sheet, but you just have a pass by the Mean Green tipped away by Aaliyah Nelson, almost a steal. And keeping that pressure on it can't hurt the Owls.
Jocelyn Moore inbounds it to Ariana Hardaway. The top of the key, passes it around to Duncan. Hardaway, top of the three-point line. Owls going with a little 3-2 zone. Colonel back out to Hardaway. Hardaway into the paint, gives it off to Lampkin. Up and in. Tamisha Lampkin front running all scores with 8 early points. And the Mean Green up 18-12. A great entry pass inside of the Mean Green big. Nelson at the halfway line. Gives it to Gary at the left wing. Tucker at the free throw line spins. Right-handed floater is up and good. Rain Tucker getting into a bag at the free throw line. Spins, lays it in as the Mean Green quickly setting up their offense. Inside to Colonel and an offensive foul. Tucker doing it at both ends. Taking the charge as well, and the Owls will have it down 4.
Speaking of old school basketball, you see the charge there. That's almost like what the bun is to baseball now. You don't see too many of those very often.
Over a minute gone here with the second quarter. 8:50 and counting left. Mean Green lead it 18-14. Owls moving left to right. Hardaway on Nelson. Nelson to Tucker at the top of the key. East on the right wing. Duncan on her. East holding on. East lost it. Duncan with the steal. Across half court, up ahead to Lampkin. Lampkin, the lefty layup is good. The first player in double figures. Tamisha Lampkin, now 11 out of 14 games this season that the forward from Mansfield, Texas, has gotten into double figures. Owls down 6, 20-14. East, right-hand dribble on the baseline. Spin around, floater is up off glass. Speaking of Lampkin, East has matched her so far. She's got 8. And it's 20-16, Mean Green moving right to left. 8 minutes left in the half. Hardaway to Colonel. Colonel drives. Colonel on East. Floater is no good. Rebound to Tucker. And Nelson is fouled by Duncan.
That's a crucial way to draw the foul there for Leah Nelson, because otherwise the Mean Green get a steal and then can possibly exert their lead higher to, or raise their lead to 6. And that's the last thing you want if you're the Owls. So far throughout this game, if I were to tell you, Jacob, without looking at the scoreboard, that this was a 4-point matchup, you'd probably be surprised, because things have looked all North Texas so far.
Yeah, all North Texas as Aaliyah Nelson checks out. Tristan Taylor coming in. East, over to Tucker. Terriana Gary on the right wing. Guarded by Moore. Pressure defense. East off the screen. East, the left-hand dribble, lays it soft off the glass. 10 points for East. 20-18, Mean Green lead. Say that 5 times fast. 7:30 remaining in the first quarter. Inside to Colonel, who's down deep. Missed it. Gets another try, and she lays it up and in. Count it, and the foul for Desiree Colonel, the graduate forward from Newton, Kansas. We'll go to the line for one more.
And that play right there exemplifies just how important the offensive rebound is. If Temple secures a rebound there, then that's just 2 less points on the board for North Texas. However, they did get the rebound, and now they're going to get the chance for 3.
Washington coming in for Jaleesa Molina, who will take a seat. Desiree Colonel, top 10 in the AAC in scoring. She had a season-high 28 points against Arkansas Pine Bluff in non-conference play. She knocks down the free throw, 23-18, Mean Green in front. 7 minutes left in the first half. Taylor across half court, gives it to East in the corner. East, who has been the motor of this Owls offense, back to Taylor. Getting the plays from Diane Richardson at the scores table. Hands it to East. Tucker at the top of the key. Gary on the left wing. Back to East. East, the 3 at the top of the key. It's off the front rim. Battle for the rebound. Coming up with it is Moore. Moore leading the charge the other way. Sends it over to Duncan. Duncan, pass inside to Colonel, who's up and in. 5 straight points for Desiree Colonel as the 2-headed monster for the Mean Green coming alive at Colonel and Lampkin. East inside and a blocking foul. You can count it. And the foul. Tiara East going to the line for one more.
Tiara East has took it upon herself to make sure that the Owls stay in this game. It's felt like she scored almost every single time the Owls have walked down the court.
Nelson coming back in for Gary. 12 points for Tiara East, now leading all scorers. Hasn't really done it outside on the perimeter, getting down, putting her head down, and driving into the paint. Knocks down the free throw, 25-21. Mean Green lead it. Danny Robinson in the game, joined by Colonel, along with Duncan, Lampkin, and Moore. Robinson, off to Colonel. To Lampkin at the free throw line. Drives inside on Tucker. Spin move. Lefty layup off glass. No, but a foul. Tamisha Lampkin, old school move. The pump fake, the spin move, and the lefty layup drawing the foul. Can't really teach it much better than that, Andrew.
Absolutely not. And the old school seems to be working here, as Lampkin has been shooting 5 for 6 from the field to get herself 10 points on the board here.
Colonel checking out in favor of Shadesia Brackens, who's back into the game. As Jason Burton going deep into his bench, as knocking down the free throw is Tamisha Lampkin. We talked about the blocks earlier. 64% shooting from the field, one of the best in the country. The only player in the conference shooting over 60%. She knocks down the free throws 27-21. 6 minutes left in the first half. North Texas with the lead. Tristan Taylor at the halfway line. Tiara East getting a one-on-one. The spin, fadeaway, jumping way off. Rebound goes to Lampkin. Robinson across half court. A blue of speed, lefty layup off glass is good. Deani Robinson with 6 off the bench, 29-21. Mean Green in front. Taylor across the half-court line. Slip screen from Tucker. Tucker at the top of the key. Eyes up a 3. No. Fight for the rebound. Hitting the deck is Washington, and the pass way in front of Lampkin, and a turnover there for North Texas, just their second of the game.
If I'm Diane Richardson here, next time that I have my team in the huddle, I say to stop shooting the three-point basket. Because so far throughout this game, Temple has gone 1 for 9, only having the 1 3 that came from Aaliyah Nelson off of a couple offensive rebounds. So without that rebound, that doesn't even happen, and Temple's 0 for 8.
Piper coming back in for Tiara East. Piper hands it off to Taylor in an offensive foul as Piper trying to screen off Robinson, who hits the floor. Just an inexcused turnover for the Owls after a turnover by North Texas. As back into the game is Mallard for Lampkin, who has 10 points.
Taking out the highest scorer there for North Texas. We're going to sub in Mallard, shooting 1 for 3 from the field. No doubt going to get her stats up here as long as Temple consistently has that. I'm going to find a way to put this. Temple so far throughout this game hasn't put much pressure on the inside basket.
Deani Robinson, leg brace on her left leg, coming back from a season-ending injury last year with Texas A&M Commerce as she gets it in to Brackens, who turns it over. 3 straight turnovers combined for the two teams as Taylor gets the inbound from Tucker, crosses the half-court line. 5 minutes left in the first half. Mean Green lead it by 8, 29-21. Taylor on the left wing. Entry pass to Washington in the post. Washington on Moore. Washington, the post spin up and off. Rebound tapped out. Robinson corrals it. A blue in transition. Robinson trying to feed it to Moore, who hits the deck, and Solis with the foul. And Deani Robinson flying up the court with the steal. Another turnover for the Owls. We've hit break time. 4:51 remaining in the first half. The North Texas Mean Green lead the first ever matchup between these two teams, 29-21. You're listening to Temple Owls women's basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back to North Philadelphia, the North Texas Mean Green and the Temple Owls. The first matchup between the two teams. The Owls 22-18 against teams from Texas. North Texas leading this one, though, 29-21. Into the fouls, though. The biggest thing, we talked about it before the game. North Texas draws a lot of fouls, and the Owls 7 here halfway through the first half.
Cite that stat once again. North Texas forces opponents about 24 fouls a game in matching up with them. So that has shown true here, as the Owls already have 7 so far.
North Texas moving right to left, a side baseline out of bounds, giving it inside to Mallard. Tucker, East, Washington, Taylor, and Nelson on the floor for the Owls. Ball on the floor as Duncan had it tipped away. The effort there from Wayne Tucker diving after it, but a sideline out of bounds. Now for North Texas, who's running out. Anna Robinson didn't score any points against Charlotte in 4 minutes. Has 6 here today. Colonel gets it as Washington hit the floor. 5-on-4 for the Mean Green. A corner 3 is off. Coming up with the rebound there is Moore. Passes it to Robinson. Robinson drives and a foul on East.
That offensive rebound there is going to put North Texas into double-digit offensive rebounds already, even before the start of the second half.
Just cannot happen for the Owls. Mentioned a taste of their own medicine earlier, but might be getting extra doses of that medicine here right now, True, as Robinson to the charity stripe. Imagine the transfer from Texas A&M Commerce. The season-ending injury last season. One of the best players all time with Texas A&M. At least 20 points 8 times before injury last season. WBCA first team All-America in 2021. 2022, and she's showing out today. 8 points off the bench as she knocks down 2 free throws. Mean Green, their largest lead at 31-21. 4:20 left to go in the first half. Taylor across the halfway line gives it to Nelson. Nelson the screen from Tucker. Nelson the drive, tough floater off glass as Nelson hits the floor. Robinson across half court, 31-23. Mean Green moving right to left. Mallard the turnaround mid-range. J is pure. 33-23. Another mid-range jumper for the Mean Green. Nelson again drives and she gets it to fall. The acrobatics on display for number 2, it's Cherry and White. Aaliyah Nelson getting another 2 to fall and the foul.
What a perfect way for Aaliyah Nelson to go for the 3-point opportunity there. Getting her way through the paint, weaving the defenders, and then going for the perfect under scoop to get herself to get the ball going in the basket.
Andrew, what the kids say, the jelly, right? The jelly layup there off glass. Surely maybe not when Nelson drew it up. She knocks down the free throw, but right now her momentum really keeping this from Texas pushing this lead even further. Lampkin back in for Mallard. Robinson off the slip screen. Pass to Colonel, who lost the handle. Nelson has the steal, and she's fouled by Duncan. Aaliyah Nelson, she's been itching for one here in this first half a handful of times. With her hand on the ball in the passing lane, this what she gets the steal. She's fouled. Both teams now 5 fouls, and both teams in the bonus with 3:37 left to go in the first half.
You see with the foul there, that's most likely because North Texas has met the true scary force that is a Aaliyah Nelson in transition.
Aaliyah Nelson, it's like a Ferrari on the highway, splur in transition as she knocks down the first free throw. 33-27, she misses the second. Colonel the rebound, hands it off to Hardaway. Quickly up ahead to Jocelyn Moore. Hardaway and Moore, only starters without points for the Mean Green. Hardaway to Lampkin. Lampkin back to Hardaway. Off of a screen from Lampkin. The 2-man game there for North Texas. Trying to feed Lampkin, and another steal for Nelson. Grand theft Nelson. Left wing 3. No off the front of the rim as Terriana Gary, who's checked in, gets the offensive rebound. Nelson off the screen from Tucker. Nelson back to Tucker. To Nelson on the left wing. Nelson off the screen from Tucker with 3. She missed it. Rebound goes to Colonel. The Owls now 1 of 10 from 3. North Texas still without one. Quickly moving from right to left, a mean green in the front court. Another turnover. This one, Taylor has the steal. Taylor down the lane. The righty layup. No, off glass. She gets the rebound and she'll carry it back out. 2:30 left in the half. Nelson's shot is blocked. Lampkin, the rebound. And a foul by Taylor for Hardaway, who's trying to take it in the front court. Andrew, what is going on?
It's been a little hectic here with all the turnovers and steals. When you look at that, Temple as a team has 3 steals thus far, one of which by Tristan Taylor and the other 2 by Aaliyah Nelson. And when you look at those two, something important to think about is that Tristan Taylor is more than likely going to be the point guard once Aaliyah Nelson leaves this program. And when Taylor was asked about her relationship with Nelson, she said, Aaliyah being a role model and using her experience to give me some knowledge has helped me in the past few games, and I think it will continue to help us, Taylor said. She takes me after every game and tells me the things she likes, says good job, and keep it up, and to give me some confidence.
Taylor has been impressive, to say the least. She leads the team in three-point percentage as well. Ariana Hardaway knocks 2 down at the line to make it an 8-point game, 35-27. Tucker in deep, could have shot it if she wanted to, gives it off to Taylor, who right on cue knocks it down, 35-29. Mean Green in front, 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Selfless basketball there from Tucker, giving it up to the freshman to knock down the mid-range. Lampkin inside to Hardaway, who's now scored 4 straight. 2 at the line and 2 on the beautiful cut as Kendall Currents into the game. In for Nelson, along with Taylor, Washington, Gary, and Tucker. Currents back to Taylor. Minute 40 left in the first half. Taylor shouting out the offense. Gets a screen from Robinson. Taylor for 3 at the top of the key. The rainbow shot no good off the front of the rim. And a foul inside. Foul on the floor. Looks to go against Johnson. Anaya Johnson, number 35, the junior forward from Killeen, Texas, on the foul. As Demi Washington to the charity stripe. Washington shooting 61.5% from the line. Graduate guard from Wake Forest knocks down the first, the transfer from Vanderbilt. Then a key insert into the starting lineup this season.
Washington, something to know with her is just a little bit of an inconsistent scorer. Throughout the season, it seems that she'll score double digits one night and then the next night come in with a donut.
37-31, Mean Green lead it, moving right to left. Lampkin has 12 points to lead North Texas. Pass trying to get it inside to Hardaway, who hits the floor looking for a foul, and she won't get it. Owls have it. Another turnover for North Texas. Minute 20 left in the first half. Taylor, left hand dribble across the half-court line, moving left to right. Calling out the offense, now with Nelson on the bench. Gary on the right wing. Gary drives baseline, lost the handle. It goes all the way to Currents in the other corner. Taylor steps in for the mid-range. No, off the back iron. Rebound to Moore. Jocelyn Moore into the front court. Gary matching on her, under a minute left. Moore, the drive into the paint off glass is good. 39-31. Owls turn it over again as Hardaway missed the layup. Hardaway hits the floor. Owls have a 5-on-4, 42 seconds. Gary eyeing up a 3 from the left wing. No. Fight for the rebound, and Hardaway is fouled by Washington.
To quote you a few minutes ago, what is going on? It's being pretty hectic here towards the end of the first half between these two teams.
Both teams 1 of 21 from 3. Owls 8%. North Texas, despite leading by 8, has not knocked down a 3-pointer yet. As Bracken's set to check in as Ariana Hardaway, the sophomore guard from Jonesboro, Arkansas. All of the players on this North Texas squad, Andrew, from either Texas, Kansas, or Arkansas. Mallard and Hardaway, the 2 members native of Arkansas. As Hardaway missed the first, knocked down the second as Bracken's in for Hardaway. 37 seconds. Jaleesa Molina, Terriana Gary, Kendall Currents, Tristan Taylor, and Demi Washington. Taylor brings it up for the Owls. down by 9. They've been down by as much as 10. Washington, the crossover. Shot clock and game clock separated by 7 seconds. Inside to Washington. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Lost it. Gary back in the corner for Taylor. Jumps. Fly-by opportunity. Ball on the ground. Fighting for it. A tie-up, and that'll do it for the shot clock. Great defense by North Texas, flying around to the ball, and they will have it with 6.3 seconds left to go in the first half.
I typically don't like to do this as a commentator, but I do have to kind of question the refereeing going on right there. As there were a few plays there, bodies flying on both sides of the court where it seemed that there could have been a whistle blown.
Well, no whistle blown as Lampkin and Brackens check out. 6.3 seconds. Colonel up ahead to Hardaway. Crosses half court. Drives inside on Gary. Pivot. Gives it to Robinson. The heave. And it's off the side of the rim and out. End of the first half here in North Philadelphia. The Mean Green coming into Philadelphia and leading it at the half. They lead it 40-31. We'll have the second half on the other side. You're listening to Temple Owls Women's Basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center here in North Philadelphia. Jacob Smedley alongside Andrew Mail. Halftime, just a few minutes left until the start of the second half as the North Texas Mean Green lead the Temple Owls 40-31. Some halftime stats provided by us from the Temple Information Directory here. Tamisha Lampkin leading the Mean Green with 12 points, 5 rebounds for the Owls. Aaliyah Nelson, Tiara East with 13 points. Aaliyah Nelson with 12. Andrew, just looking at the Owls, really, Diane Richardson preaching an equal opportunity offense, but 25 of the 31 points for Temple coming from Nelson and East.
Something that we talked about before we came back from break is just the fact that this is conference play. While North Texas is their first year in conference in the American, they're going to get used to seeing these Owls and also just being in conference play. If you're Temple, you're not going to want to have games where only 2 people are scoring, because when you play against conference opponents, they're going to know how to limit them more. And let's say that Temple goes to play ECU. They're going to walk in. ECU knows these players. And if Tiara East and Aaliyah Nelson are both going on runs, they're going to scheme to stop that. And once they do, who else is going to score?
Just 6 points from the rest of the Owls. And on the flip side, defensively for the Owls, North Texas has not made a 3 in 9 attempts, but they get it. They're doing good inside, and the Owls cannot stop it. 44% from the field. Tamisha Lampkin with 12 points, but Deani Robinson with 8 points off the bench, a +5. She's been a blur in transition and forcing turnovers for the Owls.
Forcing turnovers has been something that this team has done very well. As when you look at Temple's on the stat sheet, they have 7 turnovers so far in this game already, just in 20 minutes of play. So Temple's going to really have to limit themselves on the turnover stat. And the way that you do that is, in my opinion, slowing down the game, because Temple and North Texas have played very transitionally thus far. And as you do that, it's just going to be harder to not turn the ball over. And speaking of transitionally, there's nothing harder to do in basketball, in my opinion, than a transition three-pointer. And Temple has consistently tried to make that work, and it really hasn't so far, going 1 for 13 from the field. Both these teams aren't shooting very efficiently from beyond the arc, but something North Texas has done is not acknowledge that and stop it. And North Texas, in the second half, only shot 2 3-pointers and have shown that it's been a good scheme, because now they have a 9-point lead.
Final 20 minutes of the second conference game for each of these teams. North Texas has it off the sideline out of bounds. Desiree Colonel, who has had 5 points in the first half, sends it over to Duncan. Starters for both teams. 3 on the way from Jocelyn Moore. It rims out. Tiara East with the rebound, moving right to left for the Owls. Spin inside for Washington off glass. No. Fight for the rebound. Lampkin trying to save it, and it goes out of bounds off the hands of Tamisha Lampkin. Starters for the Owls: Aaliyah Nelson, Tiara East, Rain Tucker, Demi Washington, and Ines Piper. In for the Owls, Desiree Colonel, along with Ariana Hardaway, as Piper the floater, no. Tamisha Lampkin the rebound, moving left to right at transition. Nearly a minute gone here in the third. 40-31, North Texas in the lead. 3-2 zone now for the Owls. Entry pass to Lampkin. Back out to Colonel. Pump fake on East. Right-handed floater is in. Desiree Colonel, didn't say her name too much of the first half, gets 7 points.
Sorry about that. Not much has changed here throughout this game. We have some fast-paced transition scoring and inside scoring for North Texas.
East gives it off to Washington. Tucker at the top of the key, guarded by Lampkin. Tucker gives it off to East on the switch. Guarded there by Moore. East backing down Moore. Kicks it out to Nelson. The corner 3. No. She's the only one that's hit a 3 by either side. She missed there. Lampkin the rebound. Mean Green moving left to right. Shamira Duncan, who had 4 points in the first half, gives it off to Hardaway. Hardaway off the screen from Colonel. In the corner to Duncan. Duncan tries, left-hand dribble, dips it off to Lampkin, who's wide open and lays it up and in. And North Texas is up by 13, their largest lead of the game.
The 14th point there for Lampkin, really inserting herself on the interior scoring.
Owls have had no answers. Lampkin has missed just 1 shot. Nelson to Piper, over to East on the right wing. East inside to Tucker. Tucker gotta provide some offense on the flip side as Washington in and out of her hands as it's tipped aside. On the flip side, Rain Tucker, 1 of 4 from the field. Mention Ines Piper, 0 of 3. The Owls bigs have to find a way to answer as Piper, the baseline out of bounds pass, Washington at the mid-range. Sends it into Tucker. There's Tucker off the side of the rim. No. Bound to Lampkin. Up ahead to Hardaway. Moore on the right wing for 3. She's got it. The first 3 for the Mean Green is a big one. Jocelyn Moore makes it a 16-point game. And a timeout on the floor by the Owls. 7:27 remaining in the third. The Owls haven't scored a bucket here in the second half. We'll keep it right here. Andrew, Owls offensively really disconjointed. Everyone's trying to touch it, but it just seems like there's not a lot of continuity on both sides.
You see, I think that the plan here for Temple is just to get the ball to the people who haven't scored yet, because there's no way for them to really get in rhythm without getting shots up. And that's what we've seen in Ness Piper, even though it resulted in a turnover. Demi Washington, even though it resulted in a turnover, and then a missed shot by Rain Tucker. Even though it's not connecting thus far, the only way you're going to get those players to get themselves on the board is give them the opportunity. And if I'm Temple here, I think the timeout is the smartest thing to do because there is nothing scarier than the idea of North Texas starting to knock down threes, considering the way the rest of the game has gone.
Yeah, and everyone's touching the ball for North Texas. Hardaway, Colonel, along with Lampkin inside. They just had no answers for Tamisha Lampkin. Set herself inside the block. One of the biggest plays here in the second half. Just waiting there for the pass, presenting an open shot, and the Owls just lost her down inside the block.
Lampkin, along with the rest of the team here for North Texas, have been a very good, have done very well with shot selection, waiting for the shots they want and not taking the shots that Temple gives them. And that's proven very victorious so far here for Lampkin because she's gone 6 for 7 from the field already.
And head coach for the Mean Green, Jason Burton, in his first season. We mentioned earlier a lot of parallels between Burton and second-year head coach for the Owls, Diane Richardson, both taking players from their programs. Burton from Texas A&M Commerce, taking a few of the top scorers there, bringing them to North Texas. Richardson doing the same with Tucker, Nelson, and Terriana Gary last season. He's seeing the benefits here in his first season. Talking after the in-conference loss against Charlotte, the first one, came out and did what they wanted to do offensively, to paraphrase, but didn't respond the way they needed to respond. But shot 46% from the free throw line, 8 of 9 attempts so far for both teams.
You see, recently for Burton, so far, a big complaint is with his own team has been free throw shooting. In the game against Montana State that they lost, they shot 59%. And as you just said, 20 free throws in the second half, but shot 46% from the free throw line. And he's been preaching that to his team, both in the presser and in the locker room. And so far throughout this game, 8 for 9 from the free throw line from North Texas.
Both teams breaking the huddle on almost 3 minutes gone here in the third quarter. 3 of the last 3 from the floor for North Texas. The Owls haven't gotten a bucket to fall, a 7-0 run for the Mean Green. As the starters back on the floor for both sides. Sideline out of bounds. Washington to Nelson. Owls moving right to left. Washington off a screen. Spins inside. Mean Green player hit the floor. Washington a deep mid-range. No. East fighting for the rebound. And she hits it out of bounds. Another missed shot for the Owls.
You can always count on TR East to insert herself in play with hustle. Getting herself inside on the interior both offensively and defensively.
And he's probably been the most efficient Owl from the floor tonight. 6 of 10. You got Tucker, who's 1 for 5. Nelson, who's 3 of 11 from the floor. Piper and Washington scoreless from the field. Hardaway across the midway line. Gives it over to Moore on the right wing. Jocelyn Moore putting her imprints on this game here in the second half with a 3. And an offensive foul going to get called. That's Lampkin with the illegal screen. The first foul on either side.
If you can get Lampkin off her game here in any way, that'll be a huge way for Temple to creep back into this.
East inbounds to Nelson. Picked up full court by Hardaway. Back over to East. Faced up by Duncan. East hands it off to Washington. Nelson on the left wing. Gives it off to Tucker. Tucker to East. East drives on the right wing. Missed everything on the floater layup. Fight for the rebound. She's got it off glass. And she hits the deck. She's got it. Tiara East with 15. 47-33. Mean Green lead. Hardaway. Left-hand dribble. Directing the offense across half court. Mean Green moving left to right. Lampkin off the dribble, spins inside on Tucker, looking to create space, and she's fouled. Tamisha Lampkin getting hers inside the painted area here tonight. Excellent move on Tucker. The spin, tried to dip inside and drew another foul.
As we said so far, North Texas is very good with drawing the foul against their opponent, and nobody's been better with that than Lampkin here so far. She's put so far Rain Tucker into a little bit of a uncomfortable position here with 2 fouls already.
Lampkin's first free throw is up and good. Her 4th season with the Mean Green. Her first season averaging double figures. At a season high 28 points versus Pepperdine, and she knocks down the second free throw. She's got 16 points, 49-33. Mean Green in control. Nelson, the left-hand dribble across the midway line. Gives it to Nelson on the left wing. The pass to Tucker is intercepted. That's Lampkin. Lampkin in transition, and she's fouled by Piper. Tamisha Lampkin is taken over. The steal, the foul, frustration for the Owls as Molina set to check in for the disgruntled Piper.
Yet another foul drawn there by Lampkin. And for North Texas here, that's been a massive factor thus far in the game. As you look at Temple so far having 12 fouls, maybe even the 13th if this hasn't updated thus far.
Lampkin jumping the passing lane and taking it coast to coast and drawing the foul. She knocks down the free throw. Struggled at the line so far this year, but Lampkin has knocked down all 5. Now make it 6. She's got 18 points, 51-33 as Gary checks in for Washington. Largest lead of the game for North Texas at 18 points. East across the midway line, moving right to left. East to the left wing, guarded by Duncan. Gets a screen from Tucker. Hands it off. Gary, the 3 from the right wing. No, off the side of the rim. Tucker gets the rebound. Back out to Gary, another try. No, off the front of the rim. And the Owls struggles from 3 continue as that one goes out of bounds. 1 of 16 from 3.
That play there has said a lot about Temple's play style so far today. Missed 3, offensive rebound, missed 3. And like we've been saying, so far Temple's really been struggling from beyond the arc, yet continue to keep chucking it.
5:30 remaining in the third quarter, 51-33. Mean Green looking for their first American Athletic Conference win. They lead it in a big way. Moore on the right wing. Screen from Lampkin. Moore trying to dip inside the fadeaway J. No. Rebound goes to Nelson. Nelson quickly into the front court. On the left wing. Nelson facing up. Moore. Nelson looking for a screen. Jaleesa Molina coming up. Gives her a screen. Nelson off the slip. Gives it to Molina. Dips inside. Denied by Colonel. Knocks it aside. Lampkin battling for the rebound. And it goes out of bounds. Desiree Colonel doing it on both sides, the denial, and the Owls will have a baseline out of bounds.
So far, problem for Colonel here has been the turnovers. However, she's making it happen on the other end.
Tucker, the fadeaway jumper, missed everything. Owls fighting for a rebound. They won't get it. And it goes out of bounds with 4:55 remaining in the third quarter. We're going to step aside. The Mean Green taking control in the third. They lead it 51-33. You're listening to Temple Owls women's basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back to the Liacouras Center. 4:55 remaining in the third quarter between the North Texas Mean Green and the Temple Owls. North Texas up by 18 points. They lead at 51-33. Andrew, where have the North Texas thrived? Where's Temple really struggled here in the second half?
So far, North Texas, as we've said, has done a really good job scoring on the interior, making sure they get the ball down low, posting up, taking those easy cuts. And while you see Temple has really been struggling from everywhere, not really scoring from the outside or the inside.
Lampkin giving it to Colonel inside, and Colonel is fouled from Piper. The dynamic duo for North Texas combining there to draw the Owls' third foul here in the third quarter. And going to the line is Desiree Colonel, the graduate forward from Newton, Texas, along with Robinson, the transfer from Texas A&M Commerce, following head coach Jason Burton from Texas A&M Commerce to North Texas. She knocks down the first at the line, best on the team in rebounds with 8.4, a little over 16 points per game. Second in the AAC in rebounds per game behind only Mia Moore of ECU. Missed the second free throw. 52-33, North Texas leads it. Owls need to get buckets in bundles here in the third. Molina, East on the left wing. Owls moving right to left. Tucker at the free throw line. Back to the basket. Gives it over to Gary at the top of the key for three. No. Rebound goes to Colonel. Colonel across half court gives it to Duncan. Duncan back to Colonel. Colonel directing traffic. Colonel lost the handle, and she's fouled by Molina as the fouls starting to build for the Owls.
If I'm the Owls here, I think that right now is the exact time to take advantage and score here to get yourself back into this game. Because if you look at North Texas, they've had no field goals in the last 3.5 minutes of play. And even though Temple is their last 5, if they really want to make themselves known here in this conference game, they're going to have to start right now.
Denise Solis in for Molina, as Colonel and Lampkin putting North Texas in some foul trouble. Duncan trying to get it all the way across to Moore. An athletic grab on the left wing to secure it. Works around a screen from Lampkin. Inside to Colonel. Left righty hook is off glass. No good. Rebound to Tucker. Up ahead to Taylor. Taylor across to East. East the drive. She's denied by Moore in the baseline. An excellent block from Jocelyn Moore. As Desiree Wooten into the game, the Owls' offensive struggles continue.
As Moore subs out, that was her second block on the game so far, being a huge defensive threat with not only 2 blocks, but another steal.
Lampkin checking out for Mallard. Kendall Kerwins in for Gary, as Nelson on the bench as well. Taylor, Kerwins in the corner for 3, no, but there's a foul. Gonna go against Wooten, her third off of the bench, as the Owls will have 23 seconds left on the shot clock with 3:44 remaining in the third. Taylor on the baseline inbound. Taylor passes it all the way back out to Solis, who gives it to East, excuse me. East to Taylor, guarded by Robinson. Annie Robinson, who's had 8 off the bench. Taylor gets a screen from Solis. Taylor back to Solis. Solis to Taylor. Taylor, the mid-range J off the front of the rim. Owls missing another shot. Pass up ahead goes to Robinson. Crosses over Taylor in the mid-range, and she turns it over. A steal for East. East, coast to coast. Left-handed layup is up and good. Tiara East with 17 points. Robinson quickly across half court. Trying to hand it off to Mallard. She loses it in an offensive foul on Robinson.
If it weren't for the offensive foul there, that would have been TRE's second steal in the last 2 plays, just showing even more her hustle here as a player.
And right now for the Owls, one of their last 8 and the last bucket coming from East. Offense has got to go through number 55, Tiara East, for the Owls right now. She's on the floor with Solis. Taylor, who gets the inbound from Solis. Rain Tucker and Kendall Kerwins. Taylor guarded by Deani Robinson. Passes it over to East on the right wing. Tiara East gets a screen from Solis. East with the switch on Colonel. East, the floater, missed everything. Offensive rebound from Tucker. Currents the three from the top of the key. No, another missed shot off of an offensive rebound for the Owls. Mean Green, Colonel draws the jump and lays it up and in. The flyby from Desiree Colonel, and she floats it up and in. 19-point lead for North Texas, 54-35. And a offensive foul gonna go against Taylor on the drive. Owls cannot buy a bucket right now as Aaliyah Nelson checking in for East.
Speaking of buying a bucket there, North Texas broke a 2.5-minute scoring drought on that transition layup.
Coming into the game is Mallard as Colonel checking out. A little shrug to the bench after a tough bucket at the other end. Robinson off to Brackens. Brackens, Moore. Movement in the baseline. There's Mallard. Mallard back out to Robinson. Robinson on the left wing. Step back. Three is cash money from Deani Robinson. And it's raining here for the Mean Green. They're up 22 points. A game high. Taylor directing traffic. Gives it to Currents in the corner. Entry pass to Tucker. Tucker draws the jump and a blocking foul inside as Tucker going to the charity stripe. But everything falling now and going North Texas's way.
5 of 7 of their last field goals here for North Texas. Sending Rain Tucker to the free throw line. This might be exactly what she needs to get in rhythm just to get a few points here on the scoreboard.
Free throws here for Rain Tucker. Just 2 points, 1 of 6 from the field. 5 rebounds in 24 minutes. Mentioned before the game, she wasn't in the layup line. She was just standing around the scorer's table moments before the game as she knocks down the free throw. And tonight, Tamisha Lampkin and Desiree Colonel have given the Owls Tucker Piper work down in the paint.
You see, for Rain Tucker, confidence is going to be a little bit of an issue. Saying after the loss to Northwestern that she personally feels like she's been having a little bit of a down tear on herself just because of the past few games. She said, I really feel like I haven't been hitting shots. The coaches really instilled their confidence in me all week, saying your shots are going to fall.
57-37, Mean Green in front. Robinson has it in the front court. She loses it in a foul by Taylor. As the 6th foul for the Owls, as the aforementioned Tucker takes a seat. Washington in. And going to the charity stripe is Deani Robinson, the graduate guard from Cypress, Texas. Mentioned earlier, 11 points. The transfer from Texas A&M Commerce. Knocked down just the 3rd 3 of the game by either side moments ago.
With her being a 67% free throw shooter, she might be one of the last people on this team I'd want to send to the line.
And she knocks down the first. In true announcer Jinx fashion, Andrew extends the Mean Green lead to 21, and she knocks down the second 59-37. North Texas in firm control as Colonel checking back in for Duncan. On the floor for the Owls, Taylor, Washington, Currents, Nelson, and Solis. Taylor right to left across half court. Trying to get it to Solis. She turns it over. Going from bad to worse for the Owls. The Euro step and an offensive foul against Shadazia Brackens in just her 9th game of the season. Turns it over, but the Owls offensively just seems like there's no continuity. Trying to pass it inside. Tip passes. And just 6 points in the 3rd quarter in all.
Well, that's been a bit of a miscue so far, and that was a not too stellar pass. That was a great job there by Tristan Taylor to take the charge and limiting the 2-on-1 opportunity that North Texas would have had otherwise.
Minute 10 and counting left to go in the 3rd. Washington dips inside, lays it up and in for the bucket and the harm. Demi Washington trying to ignite the Owls offense. Gets inside, gets 2 and the foul to make it 59-39 with a minute 07 left.
Before this, for Demi Washington, she scored 0 points there in the first half. Finally getting herself on the board here, getting herself her 6th point on the night.
One of the veterans on this Owls team taking matters into her own hands. She knocks down the free throw 59-40. Robinson quickly into the front court. Taylor on the guard. Minute left in the 3rd. Pass inside to Mallard. On the right elbow, Mallard Swings it around to Colonel. Colonel drives on Washington. Colonel trying to do something with an excellent defense from Washington. Colonel misses it off the side of the rim. Pass up ahead to Nelson quickly from right to left. Passes it to Taylor. Currents in the corner for three. No, off the side of the rim. Another missed three for the Owls. 36 seconds and counting. Robinson to Brackens, who hits the ground. Currents an excellent defensive play to knock it out of bounds.
Currents bringing the energy there. And that's the whole reason she came to Temple in the first place, because when asked by Coach Richardson about why she became an Owl, she answered to her coach. She said, you, honestly, you being Coach Richardson. She said, I saw the energy, and every time we competed against you guys, I saw your fight, effort, and energy and wanted to be a part of it. And she clearly wants to be a part of that tonight.
A great play from Currents as Tiariana Gary entered the game for Taylor. Turnaround bucket from Colonel is good. She's got 12. 61-40, 17 seconds and counting in the third quarter. North Texas up 21 as Aaliyah Nelson dribbling it out with Robinson at the free throw line, and a foul going to be called against Deani Robinson, who is incensed with the call, and that'll send Aaliyah Nelson to the free throw line. But on the flip side, North Texas will get another possession here.
And for North Texas to get another possession, that's probably the last thing you want if you're Temple, because for Temple, the one thing you're going to need is momentum going into this fourth quarter. Of course, you're trailing by 19 here as long as Aaliyah Nelson doesn't hit her second after the first make. Or after the first miss, I mean.
She knocks it down, Andrew. No jinx there. 8 seconds and counting. Robinson, the right-hand dribble across half court. Steps into the mid-range. That's been her game. She missed it. Rebound. The floater is up and good for Brackens as the Mean Green going over to celebrate the buzzer beater. And talk about a microcosm of the game so far. The Mean Green in control. We head to the fourth quarter. North Texas leading the charge. They lead at 63-41. You're listening to Temple Owls women's basketball on WHIP Radio. Welcome back. Start of the fourth quarter. Andrew, as North Texas looking for their first conference win. They're 10 minutes away. They lead at 63-41. The Owls, a total of 3 shots made in that third quarter. They scored a total of 10 points.
See, if you're Temple and you're really trying to make a push to get back into this game, that is the last thing that you need. And I think I attribute a lot of that to just the fact that Temple shot a lot of threes despite not hitting any. And, of course, they were trying to get back in rhythm with it, but then that didn't work out. Now here they are in a huge deficit.
Starters on the floor for the Owls: Ines Piper, Aaliyah Nelson, Tiara East, Demi Washington, and Rain Tucker. For North Texas, Ariana Hardaway out there with Tamisha Lampkin, who leads all Mean Green scores with 18 points, 8 rebounds. Desiree Colonel, not too bad herself, with 12 points, 8 rebounds, along with Shamira Duncan and Jocelyn Moore. Tiara East gives it off to Tucker. Tucker across Washington. Nelson on the right wing. Inside Tucker, deep in the paint, and she lays it up and in for two. Those kind of buckets trying to get Rain Tucker going here in the fourth. 20-point game, 63-43, start of the fourth. Hardaway drives baseline. Pass in the corner to Moore, and she stepped out of bounds as Nelson, a little spin around the baseline, trying to get away from that missed three.
You can always count on Nelson to bring some levity and some comedic value here to this Temple team.
And hopefully for the Owls, that energy and comedic value can turn into some points and a huge comeback. Nelson to East on the left wing. Nelson on the right wing. Entry pass to Washington. Washington gets the jump, missed it, but draws a foul. And Aaliyah Nelson at the heart of two made bucket, 2 points, and now a drawn foul on the offensive end, trying to get the Owls going here.
That was an excellent play there by Washington in the post. Going up for the fake, getting two defenders to jump on it, and then immediately drawing the foul right after.
Washington knocks down the first free throw. We've talked about her scoring here in the second half, as she has 6. 63-44. The Vanderbilt transfer at the line misses the second. Fight for the offensive rebound, and Duncan comes up with it, and she is fouled. And that's the first one for the Owls now in the fourth. Both teams now with 1.
For North Texas here, I mean, so far not scoring yet throughout this first minute of play. And the last thing you want is to let Temple really think that they have some hope.
Colonel trying to get it to Hardaway. The Owls a full court press on the sideline out of bounds. Like the full court press, though, for Temple, down 19, trying to get quick turnovers. Still plenty of time. As Colonel gets it into Lampkin. Lampkin gives it off to Hardaway, who's greeted by East. Moving left to right. Hardaway across the midway line. Hands it off to Moore. As a little matchup zone as Lampkin swings it across to Duncan on the left wing. Entry pass inside to Moore. Tough shot off glass is good for Jocelyn Moore, the senior guard from Round Rock, Texas. Lays it up and in, 65-44. North Texas leads it. 8:45 remaining in the game. Washington the save. Tucker the pass to Nelson. Nelson drives into the paint off the left wing. No. Rebound goes to Piper, and a foul on the floor by Colonel.
Temple has not stopped fighting here in this game. As we said, with the full court press, showing that they're just trying to get the quick turnovers, to get buckets up on the offensive end. And right here, you see Demi Washington barely keeping a ball in bounds with making the play happen. And now Temple has a chance for another score.
And with the second chance opportunities, as Nelson, the baseline out of bounds, just 26% from the field. Tucker, post spin on Lampkin. The great defense forces the air ball floater. Talked about it before the game, the battle between Tucker and Lampkin has won that battle so far, 18-8. Tucker with just 6 and 5, 2 of 8 from the floor. Colonel across the midway line, gives it across to Hardaway. Mean Green moving left to right. Colonel at the top of the key, guarded by Piper. Colonel directing traffic. Over to Lampkin on the right elbow. Lampkin back to Colonel on the left wing. Trying to draw up a play, it looks to be for Lampkin in the post, and she traveled with it. Great job by Tucker holding her ground as Colonel talking to her fellow forward there on the misplay.
You see, North Texas came into this last quarter saying, "What do you got?" And Temple said, "I'm not done yet." Really making things happen, forcing the North Texas miscues.
East on the left wing. Under 8 minutes to play in the game. 65-44. Temple a long way to go. And East connects. It may be after 5 on a weeknight, but the bank is open for Tiara East. She's got 19 points, 65-46.
Speaking of old school, how about the mid-range bank shot there by Tiara East?
Hardaway off the screen. Keeps the pivot put. back up to Colonel with a pump fake and an offensive foul from Desiree Colonel. Passed up in open three, drives inside and an offensive foul. Something to monitor for Colonel. She has 2 fouls.
There's something in the air here in the Liacouras Center as things are starting to go right for Temple. As long as they can get the points up, as after all these things are going right on the defensive end, they might be able to creep back into this.
Washington drives into the lane, left-hand dribble inside the free throw line, and she's fouled. Shadazia Brackens there, along with Tamisha Lampkin and Duncan. Washington drawing another foul. Tristan Taylor coming in for Aaliyah Nelson. 3rd foul already for North Texas. Another time stoppage with 7:16. Taylor to East. East drives. 1-footer mid-range, in and out. Fight for the rebound, corralled by Hardaway. Passes it up ahead, corralled by Brackens. Brackens right-hand dribble into the lane. Corrals it, and a foul on East.
Sorry about that.
No, some frustration there from East walking away from the play.
No doubt a foul there as we saw Brackens grabbing her jaw there towards the end of that play while the whistle hadn't been blown yet.
And for the Owls, an opportunity, a tough floater there from East to 19 of 17 from the floor, 19 points, one of just 2 Owls in double figures. Baseline out of bounds. Colonel finding a way free as Piper, great job on the recovery, and Colonel lost it. Another turnover. Ines Piper, an excellent recovery as she's going to check out for Gary. As the Owls going small here, Tucker, as Washington set as the power forward. Taylor off the inbounds, moving right to left across the midway line. Under 7 minutes left. Owls down 65-46. Taylor spotting up Gary on the right wing. In and out. Rebound goes to Colonel. Owls 1 of 20 from 3. Colonel to Brackens. Step back mid-range. Jay is butter. Shadazia Brackens makes it 67-46.
Let's go back a couple plays. That was the 7th missed 3 for Tariana Gary here. You got to wonder if she's going to switch it up at some point.
Taylor back to Gary. Gary drives, maybe going inside, trying to draw a foul. In and out of the hands. Washington corrals it. Taylor spins. Mid-range Jay is good. Tristan Taylor knocks it down. Her 2nd bucket of the game. 67-48. Pass trying to get it to Hardaway, and Colonel turns it over.
Things, like I just said, something in the Liacouras air. Things are going all Temple's way so far. Even though everything's kind of going right for Temple, North Texas is doing a good job maintaining this lead, still leading this game by 19.
Maybe too little, too late for the Owls, trying to come back. There's still 6 minutes left, down 19. Gary coming out for Nelson. Colonel checking out. Lampkin, Robinson back on the floor for North Texas. Washington hands it off to Nelson on the left wing. Gives it to East in the corner. Trying to set up Tucker. Almost lost it. Tucker working against Lampkin. Back out to Taylor. Taylor looking for a screen. Taylor drives right hand in the paint. Floater off glass. No. Battle for the rebound. Tucker has it. Back out to Nelson for 3. She's got it. Aaliyah Nelson, just the 2nd 3 for the Owls. Both have come through number 2. And it's now a 16-point game, 67-51, 5:20 remaining in the game. Brackens across the halfway line. Then backs out to the right wing. Trying to pass it off. East with the defense, and a timeout called from Jason Burton with 5:19 remaining in the ball game. We got a timeout on the floor. Final 5 minutes left in the 2nd conference matchup of the season. You're listening to Temple Owls women's basketball on WHIP Radio on YouTube. Final 5:19 from the Liacouras Center. Jacob Smedley alongside Andrew Mayo. The North Texas Mean Green are looking for their first conference win of the season. They lead the Owls 67-51. Sideline out of bounds for North Texas, and they turn it over out of the timeout. Washington comes up with it. Owls quickly moving right to left. Pass inside for Tucker. Tucker off glass is good. 14-point game. 5 minutes left in the fourth. Owls with a full court press. Ball on the ground and a turnover for North Texas. East drives baseline, has Washington wide open if she wanted to. Washington gets it in the corner, drives on Brackens, tough fadeaway, Jay, no. Battle for the rebound and a foul as Brackens corrals it. The energy, though, is there for the Owls.
7-0 run here for the Owls, due in large part to the 6 turnovers by North Texas in the last 4 minutes of play, 3 of those being in the last minute and a half.
And Desiree Cornell, no haste there from Burton, getting one of his best scorers back out on the floor. As Brackens, Moore comes out as well. Brianna Hardaway, who's led the offense for North Texas. A lot of assists tonight. She's got 2. Passes it into Robinson. Breaking the press. Right-hand crossover dribble. Left to right. Gets across the midway line. Nelson on the tight defense. Robinson in the paint. Tough pass into traffic. Ball on the ground. Bodies flying forward around the midway line. And Duncan comes up with it for North Texas. Spins into the paint. Right-handed floater is off. Duncan gets the rebound. Tries to feed it to Colonel and a turnover. 14-point game. 4 minutes left. Nelson right to left across the midway line. Off the screen from Tucker, the 3 from Nelson is good. Third 3 for the Owls, and it couldn't come at a better time as they mark it a 2, but still a 12-point game with 4 minutes left. Hardaway across the midway line, drives by East baseline, and pivots out on the left wing. Sends it inside to Lampkin. Lampkin hit the floor, passes it back out to Hardaway. As North Texas time is their friend as Lampkin draws the foul. But the Owls, a big run here, 9-0 run, as Lampkin kind of stopping the momentum there for Temple.
See, something to know with the Mean Green here. Speaking of mean, they just recently recorded, not on that play, but earlier, their 20th foul of the game, putting Temple in the bonus.
Mean Green. 4 fouls here in the fourth. Owls with 4 fouls. Lampkin to the free throw line. Her 7th and 8th attempt. She knocks down the first. 7 of 7 from the charity stripe. 19 points tied for the game high. And she's got 20 points. Tamisha Lampkin with 8 rebounds, 69-55. 14-point lead for the Mean Green. Owls moving right to left. Tristan Taylor. Nelson, another 3 from the right wing. No off the front of the rim. Battle for the offensive rebound. And the possession arrow will go with North Texas.
WrestleMania here in Philadelphia. It seems that there's at least 2 or 3 bodies flying every possession.
It's been A&W here, Andrew. I mean, maybe a bit early for the call here. Might have to get the trucks outside, but a lot of bodies, you just mentioned, hitting the floor, fighting for the rebounds. Both teams given the energy here in early conference play. The Owls looking for their 2nd win in AAC play after taking down UTSA, as now both head coaches talking to the referees as a baseline inbound for North Texas. Full court press for the Owls. Cornell doing the honors. Colonel gets it into Duncan, who beats Nelson, throws it ahead to Robinson, who corrals it. Robinson. Colonel pump fakes a 3. Piper out on her. Colonel 1-on-1. Trying to get it to Duncan. Duncan. Piper, the steal, punches it back. Duncan turns it over as she went over and back. Colonel trying to say that it was tipped.
That's going to mark the 20th turnover here by North Texas throughout this game.
20th turnover. 18 points for the Owls off turnovers. 14-point game. Owls just a big hole in the third, trying to dig out of it. A little over 3 minutes left. 69-55. North Texas in front. Nelson drives in the paint. Right-handed layup is good off glass. 12-point game with 3 minutes left. Nelson, Moving across half court.
Nelson is great with getting herself in there for the quick, easy score, using her speed to get into the paint.
Robinson, no off glass baseline. Lampkin, the offensive rebound, and she's fouled by East. The 6'2 forward, Tamisha Lampkin, getting her 4th offensive rebound of the game. She's forced inside today. The Owls have had little answers.
Not only a force inside, but a force from the free throw stripe. 8 for 8 so far in this game from the free throw line, and then 6 for 7 from the field. Being an efficient shooter all around, but still knows who she is. Has not attempted a 3 yet, and probably won't for the rest of the game. And throughout her 29 minutes of play, putting up 20 on the board, I don't think the North Texas could ask for much more out of her.
And the foul for the Owls going against Ines Piper, who fouls out of the game. 5 fouls. She's been tasked with guarding Lampkin and Colonel throughout the entire game. And she will be out. I would have to guess Molina or Solis is in there, but the Owls drawing it within 12. North Texas hasn't scored in almost 4 minutes, but just seems like too little too late after that really drought of a third quarter for the Owls offensively.
You see, if it weren't for the way basketball structured and there was about 5 quarters of play, Temple might actually have a chance in this game. But like you said, too little too late. Temple's probably not going to be able to get back into this one, but still showing their colors and showing how quickly they can make a game go from 20 to 10.
Yeah, it's only a game with 5 quarters for this Temple team. They've got to make up at least 12 points as Lampkin is at the free throw stripe with 2:49. East Washington, Tristan Taylor off the bench, who has played big minutes today for Diane Richardson's squad. They're with Wayne Tucker and Aaliyah Nelson. Tamisha Lampkin misses the first at the stripe, her first miss of the game today at the charity stripe.
The announcers just transcends the timeout.
It is alive and well, and she missed both. The Owls still in it. 2:40 and counting in the 4th. Lampkin missed both. 69-57. Taylor passes it into East on the right wing. East back to Taylor. Tristan Taylor trying to set up Nelson. Nelson at the top of the key. Owls have to work quickly. Nelson drives into the paint. Right-hand dribble floater is up. No good. Just a bad shot for Aaliyah Nelson. Robinson trying to pass it away. She turns it over. Washington into the paint, and she's fouled. The turnovers coming in bunches for North Texas, allowing Temple to get opportunities inside.
And speaking of opportunities, now Temple's going to possibly take the opportunity to make this game a 10-point match. And with 2 minutes to go, it couldn't technically be impossible.
It's not impossible, especially now that both teams are in the bonus to stop the clock. Talked about the struggles for North Texas from the charity stripe as Demi Washington knocks down her 5th shot from the line. She's got 7 points, 5 of 6. Make it 6 of 7 as Jaleesa Molina coming into the game. She checks in for Washington. It's a 10-point game after North Texas led by 22, 63-41 at the end of the 3rd. Inbound goes to Duncan. 3/4 length press for the Owls, and another turnover for North Texas. Hardaway walked with it. The 22nd turnover. And the Owls will have it on a sideline out of bounds, down 10 with 2:15 left.
I'm sure our producer Tyler, who was here for the Northwestern game, is getting a little bit of a flashback to the matchup that we saw with Temple trailing for a while and then making it a game late.
Taylor moving right to left past the midway line. Nelson, Tucker wide open at the free throw line. She's got it, and we're in single digits. 2 minutes left, 69-61. Under 2 minutes left. Owls looking for a steal. Pass to Robinson, and right now North Texas just trying to hold it on. Jason Burton here on the sideline just saying hold on to it, move aside, and drain all the time off. Lampkin on the right elbow. Lampkin spins, looking for options, almost turned it over. 7 seconds, 6 seconds, and a timeout called for North Texas with 1:38. Cardiac Owls here, Andrew, with a comeback 6-0 run, bouncing off of a 9-0 run a little bit earlier on in the 4th.
And if a few minutes ago is any indication, we know that this Temple team can score points in bunches very quickly. So with a 9-point, or excuse me, with an 8-point lead here, if you're in North Texas, I do not write off this Temple team. And Temple's been awesome on the defensive end as well. North Texas having no points in the last 2 minutes and 10 seconds of play.
And it started with kind of an inside-out defensive approach, forcing North Texas into tough shots defensively. There is her last, before the timeout, Lampkin almost turning it over with Tucker. Excellent post defense. She's got 10 and 7. Final minute 38. Mean Green lead at 69-61. They've got 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Duncan on the sideline out of bounds. Gets it to Hardaway. 6 seconds. 5. Left-hand dribble into the paint. Tough shot over Nelson is up, and it's good. 10-point game on the tough shot from Ariana Hardaway. Minute 20, 10 points. 71-61. Mean Green lead it. Taylor to Nelson on the right wing. Nelson drives, right-handed layup is no good in an offensive foul, and that potentially could seal it for the Owls as Molina set to check in.
The bucket for the Mean Green and then the foul to send it back the other way. This could just be enough to suck the air out of the Liacouras Center for Temple.
Hardaway set to do the inbound as Molina in for Nelson. She sends it in to Robinson. Colonel on the sideline, and a foul on Washington as Diane Richardson showing frustration on the side, pounding the scorer's table. She thought it was another turnover for Colonel, which would be her 7th. But instead, Desiree Colonel's only had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 fouls. Will go to the charity stripe looking to put this game away. And that's close. Looking up at the scores on the scoreboard here. Close. Can see the case from Diane Richardson, but to no cigar.
And Colonel's probably one of the last people I want to send to the free throw line if I'm Temple. Being 2 for 3 from the line in this game, however, she can consistently knock down these shots in clutch moments.
Colonel, 79% coming into the game from the line. She knocks down the first. Make it 72-61. Again, going back to the third quarter, Owls down by as much as 22, trying to stage a comeback in the fourth. But right now, looking bleak as Colonel makes both at the line, 73-61. Minute 11 left. East gets it into Nelson. Nelson quickly moving from right to left. Left-hand dribble across the midway line on the left wing. Nelson looking for a screen, gets a screen from Tucker. Back out to Tucker, gives it to East. Owls got to get a shot up quickly. East at the free throw line, and a foul. Gonna go against Moore, who hit the floor. And that'll send Tiara East to the line, but the Owls just taking way too much time trying to set up the offense as we creep under a minute left.
If you're Temple, you don't have too much time to spare here. But for Moore to get her 3rd foul of the game here, I mean, you got to wonder, just if you're North Texas, how do you not limit the fouls here in the last minute and a half of play?
Yeah, got to let the Owls just take the bucket up by double digits as East knocks down the free throw. Tiara East with 20 points for the Owls. She knocks down the second, 63-73. Mean Green lead it by 10. Lampkin off the inbound. Under a minute left. Pass across to Hardaway as North Texas, barring a miracle, will snap a 2-game losing streak and get their first American Athletic Conference win as a new member. Moore to Lampkin. Lampkin spins on the left elbow, keeps the pivot foot, passes it back out to Hardaway. 8 on the shot clock, 30 seconds left in the game. Hardaway trying to get it to Duncan. Duncan lost it off of her foot, and a backcourt violation as Hardaway retrieves it past the backcourt line. 23rd turnover for North Texas, but with 26 seconds left, it might not matter.
Stat that is pretty interesting here in this game is the fact that for a lot of this game, the foul category has been led by North Texas. And not only that, but you look at also turnovers. Now with 23, that more than doubles the Temple amount.
Nelson, a mid-range J, no good at the free throw line. 16 seconds left and a foul. Taylor fouling Ariana Hardaway, who will walk the floor and go to the free throw line. As both teams going to their respective benches with 16 seconds left. Kind of confused what's going on here. Both coaches talking to the referees, probably conferring the foul. Diane Richardson for the Owls wondering the same thing. Nelson as well. And Ariana Hardaway going to go to the charity stripe, but win for North Texas. They're 11th on the season, first in conference play, and the Owls will fall to 7-7 and 1-1 in conference play as Hardaway misses the first at the line.
See, North Texas here, despite the miss right there, has really seemed to fix their free throw discrepancy, shooting 80% from the free throw line today, following Coach Burton's complaints.
Hardaway knocks down the second. She's got 8 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Taylor across the midway line, 12 seconds. Nelson the corner 3, no good. Moore the rebound, 6 seconds. And she's just going to dribble it out with East giving chase. Gives it over to Duncan, and that will do it. North Texas starts the new year with a road victory in North Philadelphia as they take down the Temple Owls 74-63 to get their first American Athletic Conference victory as in their first year in the conference. Andrew, the Owls really fell behind after the second half. They were down 9. And they were down by as much as 22, couldn't buy a bucket in the third, and the comeback just too little, too late in the fourth quarter.
See, even though Temple seemed to figure it out late in the game, their biggest issue for this matchup was really just kind of stubbornness of not really trying to change or fix the play style. And a lot of that came from beyond the perimeter. Two threes from Aaliyah Nelson, but you take that out, and other than Aaliyah Nelson's shots, Temple went 0 for 21 from the three-point line. And they kept firing the entire game. And if you're Temple and you know you're not hitting these shots by the second half and midway through the third quarter and they're not happening, you got to switch it up. And they just didn't.
Yeah, the Owls shot 2 of 23. And as you mentioned, from the three-point line, Aaliyah Nelson with both of those makes the stat leaders for each side. Tiara East with 21 points for the Owls, 9 of 17 in 32 minutes. Aaliyah Nelson with 20 points, 6 of 19 from the floor in 32 minutes. And for North Texas, Tamisha Lampkin, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 6 of 7 for the field, along with Desiree Colonel, who had 14 points, 9 rebounds. She did have 6 turnovers as well, and some complimentary scoring from Jocelyn Moore with 7 and Ariana Hardaway with 8 for North Texas. The Owls now, after a home stretch, will go on the road this Saturday. Andrew, before we sign off here, the biggest thing the Owls have to do as they go on the road against Tulsa this weekend.
The biggest thing for Temple is to really just figure out how to neutralize the scoring and not rely on 1 or 2 players to really come in firing. Because even though it's not consistently the same people every night, if you're the Temple team, you're not going to win games, especially in conference with teams who know you, by just having 2 players firing on all cylinders. You really need to neutralize who's going to be scoring, and that needs to be everybody.
The Owls' next game, they will go on the road to take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane in search of that second conference win. For our producer, Tyler Blankenship, alongside Andrew Mayo, I'm Jacob Smedley, saying so long, Happy New Year's to you and yours, and you've been listening to another presentation of Temple Owls Women's Basketball on WHIP Radio.